Okay, so I apologize for those of you that heard this during the morning show, but you got to hear Gator's reaction in real time to what is Mel Kiper's mock 4.0, a two-rounder. Are you ready, my friend?
That I am.
All right, with the first pick, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
All right.
At 2, Houston Texans. Also go quarterback, C.J. Stroud, Ohio State.
There it is. Number 3, the draft starts at 3. Well, now that Houston's taking a quarterback, the draft starts at pick number 3.
Arizona is on the clock, and we have a trade.
Yes, we do.
Tennessee moves up from 11, gives up 11 and 41 plus a 2024 first-round selection.
Oh, boy.
And either a 2025 first or second rounder.
All right, so it's a quarterback. The question is, will it be the project or will it be the guy that I just don't even think is worth it?
And the pick is in. Tennessee Titans are now on the clock, and with the third pick, the Tennessee Titans select Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Florida.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned that it's Tennessee that's doing this. I know
because they have Malik Willis.
Yes, well, because they did the project thing before, meaning last year, and it has not been met with good results to this point.
Still early.
It's very early. I wouldn't give up on Malik Willis either, but would you go back into the well and do the exact same thing?
Well, they are, according to Mel.
Well, it's not the exact same thing. One was a third-round pick, and this one is a top 4 pick.
Right, but it's a all right, here we go. Slow down.
Our guy rushes to the defense of his guy.
Well, I mean, you're acting like Malik Willis and Anthony Richardson are in the same realm. If one guy was drafted in the third round and one guy might be possibly drafted in the top 5.
They're in the same realm in that they are both projects, to say the least, right? Would you agree with that?
They're
both projects, yeah.
Okay.
I think any quarterback.
Projectable skills, yeah. I gotcha. One like a bit more of a project than the other.
Well, yeah, because the one ended up slipping to the third round. Everybody thought he was going to go in the first round. I mean, a year ago, the discussion were who's going to trade up and get Malik Willis in the top 10, right?
Yep.
So it's not too dissimilar, my friend.
Let's not bog down here. 3, Richardson goes to Florida. We got a long way to go. At 4, the Colts are on the clock.
Quarterback? Trade?
The Colts select Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky.
1 through 4 quarterbacks. So the Lions are going to have their shot of one of the top 2 defensive players in the draft.
The pick is in, Seattle at 5. The Seattle Seahawks select
Will Anderson.
Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia.
Come on! LFG! Woo! Here we go, people! It's what we've been preparing for. You wanted a path? Mel has given us a path. Yes! It's a mock draft.
At 6.
This doesn't mean anything yet.
The pick is in.
Yeah.
With the 6th pick, the Detroit Lions select Will Anderson, linebacker, Alabama.
Dan Campbell shows up on stage and tackles Roger Goodell.
He writes, I love the potential pairing of Anderson on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, the number 2 overall pick a year ago. That's a scary edge rushing duo. In 2021, Anderson has 79 quarterback pressures, ranked first in the country, while Hutchinson was second with 64. Anderson had 17 and a half sacks to Hutchinson's 14. These two know how to get to the quarterback. For a Detroit team without many available starting spots on its roster, this would be a tremendous selection.
Yes, it would.
So let me see. That would wrap
it's a dream scenario.
That would wrap up the Stafford trade, right? It would give Detroit Jared Goff, Ifeatu Melifonwu, draft capital they got Jamison Williams with, and Will Anderson for Matt Stafford.
So let's see. So Pro Bowl quarterback and two potential
stars,
really studs. Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh man.
Let's continue up to 18.
Woo! Need a cigarette.
Devin Witherspoon, the corner from Illinois, goes to the Raiders. Nolan Smith, the outside linebacker from Georgia, goes to Atlanta at 8.
Top 10 now.
Other picks that might interest Detroiters that people have eyed and might hope fall to 18. Philly at 10 takes Skoronski, the offensive tackle from Northwestern. Tyree Wilson, the defensive end from Texas Tech, goes to Arizona 11 now. They traded down and get Tyree Wilson.
All right.
Houston gets Jackson Smith and Jigba at 12, wide receiver from Ohio State. Christian Gonzalez, the corner from Oregon, goes to New England at 14. The tight end, first tight end's off the board to Green Bay at 15. Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah, goes to Green Bay. He'll be catching passes from a disgruntled Aaron Rodgers because that trade's never going to happen. At 16, the Washington Commanders take Joey Porter Jr. Lions are on the clock at 18, and the pick is in.
Who's available? We doing this or?
No, we're not, because we're doing this completely different. The pick is in. At 18, the Detroit Lions select Bijan Robinson, running back.
Okay.
Texas.
All right, I see it.
I'm gonna move quickly because we got to get through their picks at 55 before we set up this topic.
Gotcha.
Miles Murphy, defensive end for Clemson, goes 20 to Seattle. I'm just gonna list guys Lions fans might be interested in. Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC, goes 21 to the Chargers. Deonte Banks, corner from Maryland, goes 22 to Baltimore. And Forbes, the corner from Mississippi State, goes 23 to Minnesota.
All right, so it feels like all the top corners that we really liked are kind of gone at this point.
Now there's a run on defensive lineman Detroit might like. Lucas Van Ness, defensive lineman from Iowa, goes 24 to Jacksonville.
Don't care. We got Will Anderson, baby.
Yep. Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame, goes to Dallas at 26.
Can breathe a little easier.
Here goes a linebacker. Buffalo takes Trenton Simpson from Clemson at 27.
All right.
Brise goes 28 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Defensive tackle from Clemson.
All right.
Kalijah Cansey, defensive tackle from Pitt, goes to New Orleans at 29.
Some good players coming off the board here.
Yep. Seattle trades back into the first round.
Seattle traded back into the first round.
They gave up 2 second-rounders to move up to 30 to select quarterback Hendon Hooker.
Damn it.
You're hoping he'd fall. But we got to talk about that trade possibility.
Well, because this is the exact type thing I'm talking about. Would you trade back into the first round to get Hendon Hooker? Because that's what teams are going to start thinking about if Minnesota doesn't take him in the 20s.
So Seattle's got 2 second-rounders, 37 and 52. Detroit has 48 and 55.
Yeah.
Not as good, but 2 second-rounders, you throw in something else, Detroit could be making this trade. But anyway, Hendon Hooker goes to Seattle at 30.
Or you just call up ahead to somebody else, and maybe they're willing to make the trade.
Kansas City at 31 takes Will McDonald, the edge rusher from Iowa State. Let's move through the second round and get to the 2 Detroit picks. Again, picks that might interest Detroit. At 34, Arizona takes Quentin Johnston, wide receiver, TCU.
Like him a lot.
Brian Branch, the defensive back from Alabama, goes 35 to Indianapolis. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back from Alabama. I guess Detroit wouldn't want him.
Don't care.
Osiris Torrance, guard from Florida, goes to the Raiders at 38.
Did you mention Kalijah Cansey at this point?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Late first round. Drew Sanders, linebacker, Arkansas, goes to Carolina at 39.
That's 2 of those linebackers.
Darnell Washington, the tight end you love from Georgia, goes to New Orleans at 40.
Like him.
I know you do. Lions are on the clock here at 48. The pick is in. The pick at 48, the Detroit Lions select.
Come on, Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell, linebacker, Iowa.
Woo! Yeah! Why aren't you clapping?
I clapped at 8 a.m. when I heard it when it first came out.
What, you clapped out? You
thought
can't clap again?
I was so happy I thought I might have woke you. Detroit's on the clock at 55. And at 55, the Detroit Lions select Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver, Tennessee.
Wow! What?
I know!
These are the first 4 picks the Lions get.
Detroit gets Will Anderson at 6, Bijan Robinson at 18, Jack Campbell at 48, and Jalen Hyatt at 55. Gator.
This is a 0% chance of happening.
They all start this first year, right? At some
they all
point,
play.
not right away.
Yeah.
But I bet they all start this first year.
Come on.
Gator, surprisingly, Kiper gave himself an A for this draft.
Kiper actually writes, after the 55, Kiper writes, let's recap Detroit's haul in the 2-round mock. Here are my picks for them. Will Anderson at 6, Bijan Robinson 18, Jack Campbell 48, Hyatt at 55. Then Kiper writes, that's an A draft grade, right? All 4 of these prospects would play early and often. I think they'd all start, and I love he gave himself an A.
Yeah,
patting on the side. I did a good job there.
Just like this guy earlier. Gator, I made the comment to Kank. If a listener sent this mock in, we'd mock it. Mel did it.
Well, I mock it for the first pick. That's what I'm laughing at with the first pick. Because is it possible 4 quarterbacks go in the first 4 picks? Is that possible? It's possible, but I really don't see it. But it's possible. So then you're talking about Seattle at 5. Would Seattle take a chance on? Would they rather have the defensive tackle or the defensive end?
Apparently, the defensive tackle, according
/
to Mel.
outside linebacker. Look, I think it's way far fetched that Will Anderson's there at 6.